Picture this. You're sitting in your driveway looking at that vehicle you worked so hard to afford, the one that represents success and freedom. But here's the reality that car dealers don't want you to understand: that beautiful machine isn't just transportation. It's potentially one of the biggest obstacles standing between you and financial security. Most Americans think their largest expenses are housing or maybe student loans, but they're missing a massive wealth drain hiding in plain sight. The average car payment has hit $745 monthly. And when you factor in insurance, maintenance, and fuel, total transportation costs often exceed $12,000 annually. That's more than many people manage to save for retirement in an entire year. Here's what will shock you about the true mathematics of vehicle ownership. The opportunity costs don't just add up over time, they compound into potentially life-changing amounts that most people never calculate. By understanding these real numbers and learning strategic alternatives, you can make transportation decisions that serve your financial goals rather than undermining them. What I'm about to reveal shows the 5 hidden costs destroying your wealth and why most people never see them until it's too late. Hidden cost 1. The true total cost of ownership. Most Americans focus primarily on monthly loan payments when evaluating vehicle costs. But this narrow perspective obscures the full financial impact of car ownership. Understanding the total cost of ownership provides a more accurate foundation for making transportation decisions that align with your broader financial goals and circumstances. According to AAA's annual analysis, the average cost to own and operate a new vehicle exceeds $12,000 annually when all expenses are included. This figure encompasses loan payments, insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs, registration fees, and depreciation costs that many people track separately or don't fully consider when making purchase decisions. Monthly loan payments, while highly visible, represent only one component of vehicle expenses. Insurance costs vary significantly based on vehicle value, your driving record, and geographic location, but typically range from $1,500 to $3,000 annually for full coverage required on finance vehicles. Fuel expenses depend on driving patterns and vehicle efficiency, averaging around $2,000 to $3,000 annually for typical drivers. Maintenance and repair costs increase over time but affect all vehicles regardless of age. Even new cars require routine service like oil changes, tire rotations, and brake maintenance that can total $1,500 to $2,500 annually. Older vehicles may require more frequent repairs, but often have lower insurance costs and no loan payments, creating different cost structures rather than uniformly higher expenses. Registration fees, taxes, and miscellaneous costs add several $100s annually depending on your state and local regulations. These expenses often get overlooked in purchase decisions, but represent ongoing obligations that continue throughout ownership. The psychological impact of focusing only on monthly payments can lead to poor decision-making. Dealers often emphasize payment amounts rather than total purchase price, loan terms, or interest rates because monthly figures seem more manageable. This focus can result in longer loan terms that increase total interest paid or higher priced vehicles that strain overall budgets. However, the total cost perspective must be balanced against practical transportation needs. Reliable vehicles can provide years of service that justify their costs when those expenses enable employment, family responsibilities, and necessary activities. The key involves making conscious choices about which features and price points provide genuine value versus those driven by marketing or social pressure. Geographic factors significantly affect these calculations. Urban areas with robust public transportation might enable lower vehicle expenses or car-free lifestyles, while rural areas may require more substantial transportation investments for basic mobility. Climate, terrain, and local infrastructure all influence optimal vehicle choices and associated costs. Here's your practical analysis approach. Calculate your current total transportation costs, including all payments, insurance, fuel, maintenance, and other vehicle-related expenses. Express this as a percentage of your take-home income to understand how transportation fits within your overall financial picture. Research total ownership costs for different vehicle categories using resources like Edmunds True Cost to Own or Consumer Reports Reliability Ratings. These tools provide more comprehensive cost projections than focusing solely on purchase price or monthly payments. Consider your actual transportation needs versus wants when evaluating options. Factors like passenger capacity, cargo space, reliability requirements, and commuting patterns should drive decisions more than status considerations or minor convenience features that may not justify their costs. Most importantly, remember that transportation represents a tool for achieving life goals rather than an end in itself. The optimal choice balances cost considerations with genuine functional requirements, enabling you to allocate resources effectively across all your financial priorities rather than having transportation expenses consume disproportionate portions of your income. Hidden cost 2, depreciation and opportunity cost. Reality, Vehicle depreciation represents an unavoidable cost of car ownership, but understanding how it works enables better decision-making about purchase timing, price points, and holding periods. Unlike maintenance or fuel costs that provide ongoing utility, depreciation represents pure wealth reduction that occurs regardless of how much you drive or enjoy the vehicle. New vehicles typically lose 15 to 25% of their value within the first year, with luxury vehicles often experiencing steeper declines. This immediate depreciation means that a $40,000 new car might be worth $30,000 to $34,000 after 12 months of ownership, representing $6,000 to $10,000 in wealth reduction beyond all other ownership costs. The depreciation continues at 10 to 20% annually for several years, though the rate generally slows as vehicles age. After 5 years, most vehicles retain 35 to 50% of their original purchase price, depending on brand, model, and market conditions. This depreciation pattern means that someone purchasing a $50,000 vehicle might own an asset worth $17,000 to $25,000 after 5 years, assuming average depreciation rates and market conditions. However, depreciation affects different vehicle categories differently. Luxury vehicles often depreciate faster than mainstream brands, while certain models with strong reliability, reputations, or limited supply may hold value better than average. Electric vehicles face additional depreciation risks due to rapidly evolving battery technology and changing government incentives. The opportunity cost concept becomes significant when comparing vehicle purchase decisions with alternative uses for the same money. The difference between a $25,000 reliable used vehicle and a $45,000 new vehicle represents $20,000 that could be invested in diversified stock market funds, real estate, or other appreciating assets. Historical stock market returns averaging 7 to 10% annually suggest that $20,000 invested rather than spent on vehicle upgrades could potentially grow to $40,000 to $55,000 over 10 years, or $80,000 to $130,000 over 20 years, depending on market performance and reinvestment strategies. These projections aren't guaranteed, but they illustrate the potential long-term impact of vehicle spending decisions. The calculations become more complex when considering the entire vehicle replacement cycle. Someone who purchases new vehicles every 5 years throughout their working life faces different opportunity costs than someone who buys quality used vehicles and drives them for 10 years before replacement. However, opportunity cost analysis must account for practical considerations that pure financial calculations might miss. A reliable vehicle enables employment, family responsibilities, and life activities that have economic value beyond transportation costs. The person who saves money on transportation but loses job opportunities due to unreliable vehicles may face worse overall financial outcomes. Safety improvements in newer vehicles represent another factor that complicates simple depreciation analysis. While a 10-year-old vehicle might be significantly less expensive, newer safety technologies like automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, and improved crash structures provide genuine protection that has value beyond financial calculations. Here's your strategic evaluation approach. Research depreciation patterns for specific vehicles you're considering using resources like Kelley Blue Book or Edmunds. Understand typical depreciation curves for different price points and vehicle categories to make informed timing decisions. Calculate the opportunity cost of vehicle price differences by projecting what additional spending could become if invested over various time periods. This analysis shouldn't drive all decisions, but it provides perspective on the true long-term costs of vehicle choices. Consider your personal vehicle replacement patterns and how they affect total opportunity costs over decades. Extending vehicle ownership periods significantly reduces the impact of depreciation on your overall financial picture. Most importantly, balance depreciation concerns with genuine safety, reliability, and functionality needs rather than making decisions based purely on financial calculations that ignore practical transportation requirements. Hidden cost 3. The psychology of vehicle marketing. Automotive marketing has evolved from highlighting practical benefits like reliability and fuel economy to sophisticated psychological campaigns that target emotions, identity, and lifestyle aspirations. Understanding these techniques helps separate genuine vehicle needs from manufactured desires that can lead to overspending on features that provide minimal real-world value. Modern car advertisements rarely focus primarily on transportation functionality. Instead, they sell lifestyle narratives: the adventurous family conquering mountain roads, the successful professional arriving confidently at important meetings, or the responsible parent protecting their children with the latest safety technology. These emotional appeals work because they tap into fundamental human desires for security, status, and self-expression. The financing industry has developed strategies that make expensive purchases feel accessible by shifting focus from total cost to monthly payments. Only $399 per month sounds more manageable than $28,000 total cost, even when the monthly figure represents a significant portion of someone's budget. Extended loan terms further reduce monthly payments while increasing total interest paid, but the marketing emphasizes affordability rather than long-term costs. Lease marketing presents another example of psychological manipulation through selective information presentation. Advertisements highlight low monthly payments and the ability to drive newer vehicles without mentioning that leases build no equity and face mileage restrictions, wear charges, and the need to constantly maintain payments for transportation access. The upgrade cycle gets reinforced through marketing that emphasizes marginal improvements as essential advances. Safety features that were luxury options 5 years ago have become essential technology that responsible people must have. Fuel efficiency improvements of 2 to 3 miles per gallon are positioned as significant savings that justify expensive upgrades, even when the actual cost difference would take decades to recover through reduced fuel expenses. However, not all marketing claims represent manipulation. Genuine safety improvements, reliability advances, and efficiency gains do provide real value that can justify higher costs for some buyers. The challenge involves distinguishing between features that serve actual needs versus those that appeal primarily to emotions or status concerns. Luxury vehicle marketing particularly targets identity and status anxieties by suggesting that vehicle choices reflect personal success, taste, and values. Premium brands position their products as statements about achievement and sophistication rather than transportation tools, enabling price premiums that often exceed the actual performance or quality differences. The subscription model mentality has infected vehicle marketing, with advertisements normalizing perpetual payments as the standard approach to transportation. The concept of driving a paid-off vehicle gets portrayed as outdated thinking rather than a financially advantageous strategy. Here's your defensive strategy against marketing manipulation. Before vehicle shopping, define your actual transportation requirements independent of any marketing exposure. List necessary features like passenger capacity, cargo space, reliability needs, and budget constraints based on your specific circumstances rather than advertised lifestyle narratives. Research vehicle reliability, safety ratings, and total ownership costs from independent sources like Consumer Reports or the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety rather than relying primarily on manufacturer marketing materials. These organizations provide objective data about performance and cost without the bias inherent in promotional content. When evaluating advertised features, calculate the cost per benefit rather than accepting marketing claims about value. That premium sound system might cost $2,000 extra. Consider whether that money provides better value than upgrading your home audio system or investing the difference. Most importantly, recognize that marketing exists to influence your emotions and create desires rather than to provide objective information for rational decision-making. Maintaining awareness of these techniques enables better separation of genuine needs from manufactured wants, leading to vehicle choices that serve your actual transportation requirements rather than aspirational identity goals. Hidden cost 4. Smart transportation strategies. Reliable transportation doesn't require expensive monthly payments or brand new vehicles, but it does require strategic thinking about your actual needs, research into vehicle reliability, and an honest assessment of your financial priorities. The key involves finding the optimal balance between cost management and transportation functionality that serves your specific circumstances. Quality used vehicles often provide excellent reliability at significantly lower total costs than new alternatives. Modern vehicles routinely last 200,000 plus miles with proper maintenance, meaning a well-maintained 5-year-old vehicle with 60,000 miles can potentially provide 10 plus years of reliable service. The same model that costs $35,000 new might be available for $18,000 to $22,000 after 5 years, offering identical transportation capability at substantially lower cost. Research becomes critical when pursuing used vehicle strategies. Resources like Consumer Reports reliability ratings, J.D. Power quality studies, and manufacturer technical service bulletins provide objective data about which models experience fewer problems over time. Online forums and owner communities offer real-world experiences that complement professional reviews and reliability statistics. Certified pre-owned programs from manufacturers bridge the gap between new and used vehicle purchases by providing extended warranties and inspection processes that reduce uncertainty about vehicle condition. While these programs cost more than private party purchases, they often provide better value than new vehicles while reducing the research burden on buyers. The sweet spot for many buyers involves vehicles that are 2 to 4 years old with 30,000 to 60,000 miles, where significant depreciation has already occurred, but most reliability issues haven't yet developed. This age range typically provides modern safety features, remaining factory warranty coverage, and substantial savings compared to new vehicle prices. However, going too old or high mileage in pursuit of savings can backfire, if maintenance costs and reliability issues exceed the purchase price savings. A $5,000 vehicle that requires $3,000 annually in repairs provides worse value than a $12,000 vehicle that needs only routine maintenance. The goal involves optimizing total cost of ownership rather than minimizing purchase price alone. Geographic and personal factors significantly influence optimal strategies. Someone with mechanical knowledge and garage space might successfully maintain older vehicles that would be problematic for buyers who depend entirely on professional service. Urban dwellers with access to public transportation can tolerate less reliable vehicles than rural residents who depend heavily on personal transportation. Purchase timing can affect costs significantly. End of model year sales, manufacturer incentives, and economic downturns create opportunities for better values on both new and used vehicles. However, trying to time these cycles perfectly often proves less valuable than focusing on finding vehicles that meet your needs at prices within your budget. Here's your strategic selection process. Define your actual transportation requirements, including passenger capacity, cargo needs, driving patterns, and reliability standards before beginning any vehicle search. This prevents emotional decision-making and feature creep that can inflate costs unnecessarily. Research reliability ratings and total ownership costs for specific models that meet your requirements using independent sources rather than relying on marketing materials or dealer recommendations. Focus on models with strong long-term reliability records rather than the newest features or designs. Set a total transportation budget that includes purchase costs, insurance, maintenance, and fuel, then work backward to determine appropriate vehicle price ranges. This comprehensive approach prevents purchase decisions that strain your overall financial situation. Consider certified pre-owned programs for models you're interested in, comparing the additional cost against extended warranty coverage and peace of mind benefits. Sometimes, the premium for certified vehicles provides good value compared to uncertainty in private party purchases. Most importantly, remember that the optimal transportation choice serves your specific needs and financial situation rather than following universal recommendations that may not fit your circumstances. Hidden cost 5, breaking the upgrade cycle. The automotive industry profits significantly from conditioning consumers to replace functioning vehicles regularly rather than driving them until major repairs become uneconomical. Understanding the psychology behind upgrade cycles and developing clear replacement criteria enables better long-term transportation planning that serves your financial goals rather than manufacturer profit margins. Trade-in programs and manufacturer loyalty incentives create artificial urgency around vehicle replacement by emphasizing minor improvements as essential upgrades. Your 3-year-old vehicle runs perfectly, but marketing messages highlight new safety features, improved fuel economy, or updated technology that make your current vehicle seem outdated. These incremental improvements rarely justify the substantial cost of upgrading functioning transportation. The financing industry supports this cycle by offering to roll negative equity from your current loan into a new purchase, making upgrades appear financially painless. However, this practice typically increases your total debt load and extends your payment timeline, keeping you perpetually trapped in monthly payment obligations rather than building toward vehicle ownership. Lease marketing particularly encourages constant upgrading by positioning perpetual payments as normal and desirable. At lease end, you're automatically guided toward new lease agreements rather than considering purchase options that could eventually eliminate monthly payments. This system benefits dealers and manufacturers while preventing consumers from ever achieving transportation independence. However, some vehicle upgrades do provide genuine value that justifies their costs. Major safety improvements, reliability advances, or changes in family circumstances can warrant vehicle replacement even when your current vehicle functions adequately. The key involves distinguishing between upgrades driven by genuine needs versus those motivated by marketing pressure or social comparison. Developing clear replacement criteria before you need them prevents emotional decision-making during vehicle shopping. Consider establishing thresholds like annual repair costs, exceeding 50% of the vehicle's value, safety concerns that compromise family protection, or reliability issues that interfere with employment or essential activities. These objective criteria help resist marketing pressure that positions minor improvements as essential upgrades. The financial benefits of extending vehicle ownership periods compound significantly over time. Someone who drives vehicles for 10 years instead of 5 reduces their lifetime transportation costs substantially while avoiding the steepest depreciation periods that occur during early ownership years. The saved payment money can be redirected toward investments that appreciate rather than assets that depreciate. However, extending ownership too long can become counterproductive if maintenance costs exceed the benefits of avoiding new vehicle purchases. The goal involves optimizing total cost of ownership rather than minimizing either purchase frequency or repair expenses in isolation. Here's your cycle-breaking strategy. Establish objective replacement criteria based on safety, reliability, and cost considerations rather than subjective desires for newer features or social pressure to upgrade. Document these criteria when you're not actively vehicle shopping to prevent emotional decision-making later. Calculate the total cost of your proposed upgrade, including purchase price, financing costs, insurance changes, and opportunity costs of the money involved. Compare this against the projected cost of maintaining your current vehicle to determine whether upgrading provides genuine financial benefit. Research the actual value of advertised improvements rather than accepting marketing claims about their importance. That new infotainment system might be nice, but consider whether its benefits justify thousands in additional costs compared to aftermarket alternatives or smartphone integration. Create automatic savings for your next vehicle purchase rather than depending on trade-in value or financing to make upgrades affordable. Having cash available provides negotiating power and enables better timing decisions rather than forcing upgrades based on financing availability. Most importantly, recognize that transportation independence through vehicle ownership provides more financial benefit than driving the newest available technology or maintaining appearances through frequent upgrades that serve marketing goals rather than your transportation needs. Conclusion: transportation costs represent one of the largest wealth-building obstacles for most Americans, but understanding the true financial impact enables strategic decisions that balance mobility needs with long-term financial goals. The key isn't eliminating vehicles entirely, it's making conscious choices about purchase, timing, price points, and ownership periods based on actual transportation requirements rather than marketing pressure or social expectations. Let me summarize the 5 hidden costs that most people miss. First, total cost of ownership that exceeds $12,000 annually when you include all payments, insurance, fuel, maintenance, registration, and depreciation. Most people focus only on monthly loan payments and miss the complete financial picture. Second, depreciation and opportunity cost reality showing that new vehicles lose 15 to 25% of value in the first year alone. That $40,000 car becomes a $30,000 to $34,000 asset after just 12 months, representing pure wealth destruction. And the difference between buying new versus quality used compounds to potentially $80,000 to $130,000 over 20 years when invested. Third, the psychology of vehicle marketing that targets emotions and identity rather than practical transportation needs. Dealers emphasize monthly payments instead of total costs, creating financial decisions that strain budgets while building no equity through constant lease cycles. Fourth, smart transportation strategies using quality used vehicles from 2 to 4 years old with 30,000 to 60,000 miles that provide modern safety features and reliability at substantially lower total costs than new alternatives. Fifth, breaking the upgrade cycle that keeps people trapped in perpetual payments rather than building toward transportation independence. Someone who drives vehicles for 10 years instead of 5 dramatically reduces lifetime costs while avoiding the steepest depreciation periods. Most people need reliable transportation for employment, family responsibilities, and daily activities. However, reliable transportation doesn't require expensive monthly payments, constant upgrades, or vehicles that consume disproportionate portions of income. Quality used vehicles, extended ownership periods, and resistance to upgrade cycles can dramatically reduce lifetime transportation costs while maintaining necessary mobility. The opportunity costs of excessive vehicle spending compound significantly over decades, but so do the benefits of strategic transportation decisions. Money not spent on unnecessary vehicle upgrades can build emergency funds, retirement savings, or other investments that create genuine financial security. Here's what separates people who build wealth from those who stay trapped in transportation expenses. They understand that vehicles represent tools for achieving life goals rather than statements about identity or success. They don't waste money on features driven by marketing narratives. They don't upgrade functioning vehicles because dealers create artificial urgency. They don't focus only on monthly payments while ignoring total ownership costs that determine actual financial impact. Instead, they research reliability ratings, calculate total ownership costs, including opportunity costs of capital, and make decisions that serve genuine transportation needs within their broader financial priorities. Your vehicle choice either accelerates your wealth building or undermines it for decades. The mathematics work whether you acknowledge them or not. The question is whether you'll make strategic decisions that put compounding in your favor rather than working against you. What aspect of vehicle ownership costs surprised you most? Total ownership expenses beyond payments, depreciation, destroying wealth immediately, or the psychology behind constant upgrade pressure? Comment below and share your biggest transportation expense challenge. Remember that optimal transportation choices vary significantly based on individual circumstances, professional requirements, and geographic factors. The goal involves making informed decisions that serve your specific needs while supporting rather than undermining your broader financial objectives.